Ladies and gentlemen, it is your favorite Zionist prince to all the traveling clack coming to you live from Tehran, Iran. We got Victor Davis Hanson giving us his thoughts on what's going on here in Iran. Let's check it out.
So, Victor, I was wondering your thoughts. The recent thing in Iran is that the International Atomic Energy Agency has told us or let out, I think a week or more ago, that Iran has enough fissile material or enriched uranium to build 9 bombs. Does this change anything in what's going on in the
Yeah,
Middle East?
everybody's arguing over the level of enrichment. They say they are up to 60% enrichment, but they have the ability to go to 90 in case of 10 or 12 bombs, and nobody knows whether they have done that yet. What's disturbing to the Israelis and us is that they keep finding areas that they didn't know about before from informants and so if the United States were to preempt or Israel was to preempt and hit their nuclear facilities, they wouldn't be sure that there's not 3 or 4 bombs. And because Rafsanjani is in the past, one of the prior prime ministers said it's a one-bomb state, he had a point. The Iranians have been very macabre about that. They have said, we like the idea that half the Jews are in one state because it's a one-bomb state. We can get rid of them. So Donald Trump keeps saying that he doesn't want to do this. It's going to be a terrible choice, but the Iranians are not going to give up their nuclear program. They look at what happened to Libya, just to take one example. In 2006, Gaddafi had all these centrifuges. Nobody had the same discussion. He's crazy. If he has a bomb, what will we do? And then he gave it up because he was scared about what happened to Saddam. He gave up his nuclear program. I was in Libya in 2007 when I met Americans that were out looking for centrifuges, and they were staying at a hotel owned by the Maltese. But my point is that once he gave up the nuclear card, Gaddafi was removed from power by the British and the French when they bombed it. And so my point is that Iran knows if they give up the nuclear thing completely, that some country we could get rid of them very quickly, and their people could get rid of them very quickly. So they're not going to give it up. And that means I think we have a rendezvous with a big decision sometime between August and October. And that will be Donald Trump will exhaust every measure, and then we'll see why he's doing this new 2.0 Iran deal, given he trashed the original one. And his critics say that he's naive and he's just wants to be a Nobel Prize winner. His supporters say no, he's got a MAGA base. He's got to deal with a MAGA neo-isolation. He wants to show them that he exhausted every diplomatic avenue. And same thing with it. But one way or the other, if you think that it's an existential threat, then it's going to have to be taken out. And that's going to be done in the fall. And that's going to cause a big rift here at home because the economy will be roaring, I think, given all the investment, tax cuts will be in. And then you'll have a disruption in the world oil market. Once you start bombing, you don't know what's going to happen. And the MAGA base, J.D. Vance, Tucker Carlson, all of those people have said they don't want this to happen. And Israel, one way or the other, is going to be blamed because they'll say the Jews did it. So it's not going to be it's going to be a very volatile time this autumn.
This Washington Free Beacon had a story that said that Iran is going to meet the Jacksonians in America. And that meant, according to the story, that what would happen, if I could extrapolate from what their position was, is that they're going to hit them and they're going to hit them hard so they can have it quick and over with, because that's how Jackson, let's not get too involved. Let's just take out the problem as
If you were going to do it, people look to what the Israelis did with Saddam Hussein's reactor in I think it was 80 or 81, and what they did to Bashar Assad's nuclear reactor, and it was a clean sweep. There were no others. So, but this is different. And if you were going to do it, you're going to have to get a week to 10 days of diplomatic cover, and you're going to have all your resources, and you have to be on guard, because if you start doing this and China goes into Taiwan or Russia starts to do another Kiev Thunder Road, you're going to be in big trouble because you're going to have to deal with multi-crises. But if you're going to do it, you're going to have to take everything out so that they don't recoup. And just for good measure, you're going to have to, it seems to me, their missile defenses are being rebuilt. You're going to have to take all of them out again. You're going to have to take their seaports out. You're going to have to take all their airfields out. You're going to have to make sure that they are emasculated militarily. It could take 2 or 3 weeks. And then you can imagine the domestic upheaval here, what we see in LA, the riots. It'd be something like that. Because we know the left sympathizes with Iran, the Palestinians, Hamas, Hezbollah, and they will have no shame in demonstrating on behalf of a wicked theocracy if it's attacked by us.
Which is quite remarkable, actually, how much the left is willing to suck upon the teat of the Islamic regime of Iran.
So, Victor, I was wondering...
Victor is a bit of a genius, I would say more than a bit. He's a big genius. And I always find it remarkable, his commentary on the situation. Like, I never thought to consider that we might be in this fight till October, but it kind of does make sense. These things usually move slowly. I really, really, really think it depends on what unfolds this week. Does Iran go back to the negotiating table? But it always comes down to they don't have any interest to come back to negotiate. There's nothing in it for them with a negotiation other than buying time. And then for Trump's base, that's obviously good because they don't want to fight. They don't want a war. And for Iran, that's obviously good because they can buy time and rebuild their infrastructure again in secrecy, which they will. For Israel, it's very bad. I mean, it's good in the short term because it means one more front is closed down, but the threats are going to stop. Like, this doesn't make sense. I really feel like we've already started the operation. It needs to come to a close. That's my honest opinion, even with all the really messed up stuff that's happening. And for real, it's very, very messed up. There's a lot of very bad things happening. People are dying. It's terrible. I said this in the last video. Like, 2 people I know personally, their houses have been bombed this week and blown up, and they're not livable anymore. Like 2 friends that are just homeless now. And it's a really, really, really terrible situation. But it seems to be worth it considering how much Khomeini and the IRGC has been fucked this week and how badly they're already wanting this war to end. And we're only a couple days into it. So all I can say is I hope that the things that are coming out of Victor's mouth don't come true. And I hope that we find a silver lining upon this, but I do think that he's probably right. I think this is going to be drawn out for a very long time till October, even if it minimizes in the aggression. It will be drawn out till October, and it's to be seen what's actually going to happen. Wish us luck. Pray for us in Israel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you a long time. Goodbye, class.
If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to support me, being PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or joining my Patreon community down below. Patreon is the best way to support my channel, and you'll get a bunch of cool perks depending on what tier you join. Another great way to support me is by buying my merchandise on thetravelingclat.com. I regularly drop new merch designs like this beautiful hat or this amazing shirt, where you can support the channel and get something cool for yourself. I also have an amazing Discord community with people from all over the world. Thank you so much for your support.